Hey guys, it's Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Monday marathon processing e-waste. Now every Monday I pick up a pile of e-waste from the local charity shop because they don't want to deal with it, and none of us want to see it go out to the transfer station to be thrown into the waste stream, whatever that entails. We're not totally sure. I would much prefer to pick up the stuff, test it, maybe fix it, maybe scrap it, but bare minimum going out to the transfer station. So this week's pile is fairly large. I don't think there's a lot of value in it. It may not be much of a marathon, but hopefully we can save some stuff. I might get some things to sell. We might scrap some stuff, and hopefully as little as possible will be landfill or going to the e-waste waste stream. Let's check it out and see what we got. So the first part of this pile looks to be, I think they're probably just speakers, not very exciting, but I will use the bubble wrap, and anyone that does a bit of eBay work really appreciates getting free bubble wrap. We'll look at them shortly. There's also a printer just under there, so I'll move these off the bench and we'll have a look at the other basket first, and then we'll get back to these. Now also, I challenge myself every week to pick up something while I'm at the charity shop. I got 2 items this time that hopefully we can flip and make some good dollars. I'm pretty confident we can, so I'll show you those later in the video. And also we will look at what we sold from last week's episode. And this is the old printer. I don't think that's very exciting. I think it's a HP. So we'll check that out. Printers really aren't of any value to me. They're pretty hard to resell unless they're new. Sometimes I do see if there's ink left in them, and we get some photocopies done before I take them out to the transfer station. So we will test this one before we throw it out. Okay, this tub. We have an electric blanket. I had one of these in a recent episode. I think it might have even been last week. They're very hard to sell unless they're pretty much brand new. This one is quite grubby, I noticed, and it looks to have pet hair over it. So it's really not something I can sell, even if it tests safe. Even a good one, I only ask $5. So we are going to scrap this one. I'm just going to chop the cords off. The blanket itself has wires through it, but they're not copper. So there's no value there for me as far as scrapping goes. And that can actually go into the e-waste crates at the transfer station because it essentially is electrical. So we'll get this off the bench first, and scrapping an electric blanket really is just chopping the cords off. And the plugs. Now the controllers are essentially switches, but I don't think they'll have any silver contacts in them, or certainly nothing worthwhile. But we might pull one of them apart and just have a look at what's inside it. I'm pretty sure there's no real scrap value, but we will check that out at the end of this video, just out of curiosity's sake. So we've got a bit of wire for our insulated copper wire bin. That's always worth saving up. And the blanket can now leave the bench. That can just go to e-waste. Okay, what's in the tub? Well, we have a top field. Is that a set-top box? Yes, I think it's a digital receiver basically. So we can, oh, it's been squashed on the antenna out socket. Someone's dropped it on there, but that probably won't really matter. So I'll do a little bit of checking on this one. I'm not sure if it's going to be of a lot of value. It does enable you to run an older style TV and pick up current channels. I'll have to just check the model number and see exactly what it is. It doesn't say, it just says digital video broadcasting HD. I'm pretty sure it's just a set-top box. So we will check that out. We'll give that a test and see if it works. And in this box now we have a Care Alert smart dialer, personal alarm system. It looks pretty much new. Now these are probably outdated fairly quickly. There's a date here, 2021. So I'll have to Google this and see if it is of any value. But it certainly looks to be in good condition, and it's an original box. Now I'm going to get some very small amount of value. If it's no good, we're going to scrap it and see what's inside, but I'll get a small amount of value from this packaging. That's really handy for eBayers, and it's probably a charger or something in there. What's in there? Oh yeah, we have a charger, we have phone cable, a little button that you hang around your neck, I guess, even a screwdriver. And the box also I will use for packaging purposes, but we'll check it out. It may be quite usable and worth something as it is. something else to check. Lots of things in boxes this week. An electric breast pump. Well, there you go. I'm not sure that's going to have much of a second-hand market. I'll have to check those. If they're very expensive items, then maybe it will have. Not sure on that one. Lots of little bits in this box. This looks like is it a sound core? It's a speaker. So I think it's like a Bluetooth speaker. It's a FM radio. It has an antenna input. DC in, so there's a power. So I guess it's a radio / Bluetooth speaker, something like that. Sound core. We'll check it out, but there's a pretty good chance we'll be able to sell that. And I would imagine it still works. A bit of research required in this lot. A neon wall light that just says love. So as long as that's not broken, that should be quite saleable. Oh, there's two of them. Alright, so we'll check those out, plug them in, make sure they work, and we should certainly be able to sell those. This box only says one, but we've got two. Okay, bonus. This pink thing is a lamp. It's just a glass cylinder. Takes a small style Edison globe, a switch, so just a standard lamp. That should be perfectly fine, and that should sell. Might only bring $5, but that should sell okay. We do have one kitchen appliance this week. We had a heap of them last week. This is is that a waffle maker with animals? Giraffe, elephant, and what's that, a lion maybe? So there you go, you can make fun little waffles for your kids. It's a bit grotty, but as long as it works okay, I think it's worth cleaning up. Yeah, okay, we'll have to give that a test and probably a clean. Nearly finished in here. What's this one? It's I don't know. Philips Event. Is this one of those oil warmers or something? Oh no, it looks like it heats or refrigerates. So it may be for your favourite drinks. You can either cool them or warm them. I'm not sure. We'll have to check on that. I've never seen one of those before. But it looks undamaged. In a little box here we just have a optical cable. It's $12.95 to buy. It looks like it's never been opened, so we should be able to sell that through the shop. And one more box in the bottom here. Some little earphone things, is it? No, it's only, oh yes, Cloud Campus. Your little ear fittings. Don't know how much of a second-hand market they're going to have either. If they were cheapies, probably not much. If they were expensive ones, it says Deakin University on it. So we can check those, see if they're worth much, and we can certainly test them. Right, we've got some testing and some research to do. And that's the end of our tub. Alright, I better test some, I'll do some checking online first, and I'll be back with you to test a few things and see if they work. Okay, I have made some discoveries. The top field is a set-top box. It's also has a hard disk drive in there, so it's a recorder as well. And they bring pretty good money. Unfortunately, I don't have the remote for it, but I saw 3 of this model all sell second-hand for close to $200. So I reckon we're probably going to put that on eBay. We do need to test it. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a remote for it. I had to look through my stores. I thought I might have had one, but I don't. And that's why I save remotes everywhere I find them. But I can buy one online, but I think I'll just test it, see if it operates as it's supposed to, see if there's anything on the hard drive, and then we'll probably put that on eBay. This Soundcare is a Bluetooth speaker. It's also a clock radio. I believe the digits light up behind the cloth from what I saw, so we will test this one. And these aren't cheapies either. I saw 3 of these second-hand sell online for, the cheapest one was about $50. So we should get pretty good price for that. If that one works, we will just plug in these little neon lights in a second and see if they work, get them off the bench, because we're a bit cluttered here. I found a globe for this lamp, so we'll test that in a second. The smart dialer, I found a few of these online as well. We're selling secondhand $30, $40, not a great deal. I think they were fairly expensive to buy new, but it's probably an older model, but this model is still sold. I've packed it back up in the box neatly with all the various paperwork. And I'm going to put this in the shop just for $10, and someone can, if they have a use for it and want to work it out, well, great. I can't really test it, not without mucking around and spending a lot of time on it. So we'll see if we can get $10 for that in its box. The optical cables seem to be fairly expensive to buy. I'm going to try for $5 on that. It appears to be brand new, unused, so we'll try that. This one I've discovered is actually a baby's bottle warmer. And you may be able to chill it as well. I'm not sure on that. So they seem to sell, I think new they're around $70 to $80, I think, from what I saw online. I did see a couple of second-hand ones sell fairly cheaply, but it looks pretty good. We'll give it a bit of a quick clean, make sure it works, and we'll try 10 in the shop, because a lot of tourists are about, and when people are on holidays, they sometimes forget these sort of things, so we might be able to get 10 for that. I haven't tested this one yet. We'll plug that in shortly as well. And something else that I'm a little bit out of my depth with, this single electric breast pump. Tommy TP is a well-known and fairly expensive brand in this sort of stuff. I've had a look in here. It's all pretty much as new. It's probably been used, but it all looks nice and clean. There's the bottle with it. The little control thing in there's all complete. It looks great. I'm going to package this up properly. I saw a few of these online selling secondhand for around about the $30 again, and postage of course adds to that price. New, I think they are around about the $200 mark, so I'm just going to package it back up as neat as, well, pretty well as it was when it was new, and I think I'll just put $10 on that in the shop. I'm sure someone will jump at that who knows what they're worth, and there's no damage to any of this, and I'm sure it can all be sterilized, so there should be no health risks with using a second-hand one. All the rubber pieces appear to be in excellent condition, so well, unless I drop them all. So we should be able to get $10 for that pretty easily. And again, it's kind of untested, but someone that knows what they're doing will be able to work it out. All right, let's test a few things now, and then we can get some stuff off the bench. We still have to look at that printer and those speakers as well. Let's start with this thing. I'm not going to clean it up unless it's actually going, so we'll make sure it works and it tests safe. It is a little grotty, this one, but it doesn't appear to be damaged, and they do clean up pretty easily. So we'll plug that in. It's a Big W brand, so fairly cheapy. I don't know what it would have been worth new, probably $30 I'm thinking. All right, we'll plug it into the appliance tester, turn that on. We have a light here, so it's powered up. Let's make sure it's earthed. Yes, it passes, so that's okay. The actual heating elements, oh yeah, that's warming up. And so is that one. They're actually pretty good. They don't look scratched or anything. They just need a little bit of a clean. So that tests okay, and it's working fine. We will put a tag on that. We'll clean it up a little bit. We'll try $10 just because it's a bit quirky with the animal shapes. I think someone will go for that. Okay, next one to test is this lamp. It does need a little bit of a clean up. It's a bit dusty inside, but everything else on it looks all right. Let's see if that powers up. Oh, there we go. Inline switch. Works okay. So that's a cute lamp. I'm sure a little girl will love that in her bedroom. So I reckon we'll try $10 for that one. We'll give it a bit of a clean up. Now, the baby bottle warmer. Let's power that one up. Light comes on. It's double insulated. We don't have an earth. It's all plastic casing. So is it warming up? We might have to leave it for a while. Looks like it has a setting for baby's bottles and drinks. A baby bottle that only has a bit of milk left in it. Maybe that's a straight out heating setting, and then the cooling or cool down. Not sure if it might work as a little refrigeration item as well. That's warming up nicely. Okay, and that tests safe, so we can give that a clean up, and we'll try and get our $10 for that one. Let's try these neon lights. Now, there's only one power pack with them. So one power pack's gone missing, but they're a standard 12 volts, 1 amp, so I'll have one of those at the shop. And it has an inline switch in it. Oh, there we go. Very nice. So at least we can swap the power pack now and see if the other one lights up. And that one's already switched on. That works perfectly. So I think I'll just put $5 each on these. They should sell pretty quickly at that. And I can have them plugged in at the shop to show they're working. These are an Anko brand, so we've had them quite a lot lately, being Kmart and Target. So fairly cheap brand, but a nice decorator piece. So that's good. We'll just have to find another charger for those. Now let's check this radio clock. Power this one up. Now does it have an... Okay, it powers on. We're probably not going to get any radio unless we have an antenna on there. Oh, there we go. It does light up behind the cloth. There's the... That's the volume setting. That's the radio. Sounds like it's going to work fine. We just need an antenna for it. Volume works fine. What's that one do? Bluetooth. Bluetooth's on. I should see if it connects to my phone. Wonder if you can increase the brightness of the display. Okay, I'm not exactly sure how to drive it, but it seems to be working fine. So I will check the Bluetooth shortly though. I'll grab another phone. Okay, I've mucked around with this for a while and I wasn't getting anywhere, so I watched a YouTube video on it and it's pretty cool. I've set it to Bluetooth mode now with my old phone that's obviously got some damage to the screen, but it still works. And Bluetooth stuff works very well. It still is a solid wall of stuff, but at least we can move back a fair bit now. We've emptied them some shelves. We made use of some other shelves in our sorting. But I'm so it works brilliantly actually. And get this, it's also a phone charger. And that works as well. A little blue light comes on when it says it's charging. So they're quite a neat little thing. The only weird thing about it, I wasn't getting anywhere with the settings. I couldn't work out how to adjust the time, how to keep the time on longer, how to adjust the intensity. And apparently you run all that from an app. You need to download an app to your phone, and then via Bluetooth you can set everything you want on here. But anyway, it works well. It's a sound core by Anker, and I believe it's called a Wakey. I guess that's like because it's a clock radio, wakes you up in the morning. You can also apparently have lots of different alarm tones all through the app. So pretty cool little device. I reckon I'm going to put that on eBay. I think we should get at least $50 for that. So we will bring the results in a future episode, and I'll also feature it on my series about eBaying, and we'll see how it goes. Now let's finish a few things off to get rid of all this stuff out of my workshop. I tried to charge these earphones or ear pieces. I'm not sure what you call them now. It seemed to charge, but they don't seem to hold charge. I tried to connect them to my phone via Bluetooth. Wasn't having any success at all there. I did check them out online. They're an older model, and you can tell that from the charging port. And they were very cheap. I did actually find some still for sale overseas, new, for under $20. So I'm not going to muck around with them. They can just go to Ewaste as they are. There's no scrap value, although I could probably sell the charger. So yep, they're going out. The box itself can probably just go into the cardboard recycling. And the printer, I've just fired it up, and I'm going to see if there's any ink left in it. And so we'll see if we can copy something. So we'll put some paper in the back here. And I think it's a Wi-Fi printer. It's a HP OfficeJet 3830. I'd imagine it's fairly old. It's very dusty. But I'm hoping I can at least get some copies out of it. So let's copy black. And we'll see if it actually works. And if it does, we can copy a lot of our sales sheets at the shop, which is handy. We don't have to use our printer and our ink then. We might as well use this up. A plain sheet of paper. Alright, so that's not working. I might, before I do scrap it, I might try and do a deep clean on it, because if it's been sitting in a shed for a long time, perhaps the ink is the head just needs cleaning. Don't know if it, oh, okay, it tells me there's no color ink, but it looks like there's some black ink. So we'll try and do a deep clean on it. If I can at all get it to copy, I will. But otherwise, even though you can still buy ink cartridges for these, I'm not going to clean it up and put it in the shop and try and sell it, because I know I won't. It'll sit there forever. Even at $5, people just won't buy an old printer and then have to go and buy ink cartridges for it. So all I'm going to do then, if I can use the ink up, great. If I can't get it to work, that's fine. Either way, the printer will end up going out to e-waste. I don't try and pull boards out of them. I will keep the cord, but other than that, I don't want old printers in my shop. Okay, I've just completed a deep clean. Let's see if anything happens this time. Start black. Mechanically, it seems fine. No, we still have blank paper. Okay, that's fine. We tried. Okay, I'll save the cord and the printer can then go to e-waste. And the last thing to sort out is these speakers. I think they're speakers. We'll try and save the bubble wrap as best we can. And we've got masking tape on here. Tends to stick too well, this stuff. Alright, so that is definitely a speaker. TCL. It's like a subwoofer. It's a wireless subwoofer. I don't have a power pack for it. Takes 14 volts at 2 amps. Don't think I've got a charger to suit that. A nice sheet of bubble wrap. We might have to leave that masking tape on there though, but we can still use that to wrap up eBay goods. Excellent. And the other one here is another speaker, Polk. Is that a different brand? Well, we've got different tape. Oh, that's a bit too sticky too. Okay, this has a power cord. Now this is a subwoofer as well, but it's a powered one, or mains power. I'm not sure if these have got any value really. Not sure. I have to do some checking on these. This one at least we could use because we can plug it in. The other one I would have to find a power pack for it. Alright, I'll just check these and see if they're going to be of any value. Otherwise, a lot of old speakers I just tend to send to the transfer station because they're just too hard to sell. People don't want old speakers. Same with surround sound speakers. They're big, bulky, and I don't really want them in my shop just because I know they'll sit there for so long. I'll check these two out and then we're just about ready. Oh, we need to give that top field set-top box a bit of a go to make sure it works. Perhaps I'll leave that. I can do that when I eBay it. I'm pretty sure it'll go. I can fix the antenna thing at the back. It's just a bit bent. But I'll test that and eBay it and I'll let you know how that goes down the track because I can't put a value on it unless, you know, we have an eBay result anyway. So I'll check these speakers and then we really just have to look at the notepad, have a look at how things sold last week and look at our two items we bought to flip. So both of these subwoofers were supposed to have a sound bar with them. There are a few online and they're actually fairly expensive. The TCL one with the sound bar I think I saw for about $130, $140. It's obviously older now. We don't have a power supply for that. I don't think that's actually worth anything, to be honest. The Polk one was even more expensive. And even without the sound bar, I did see some on eBay sell for $50 odd. One actually sold for $100. At least it's got a power cord. So I'm going to put that in the shop just for $5. Only because I don't think I'm likely to find a buyer for it easily. And someone may pick it up for $5 just to pull apart or whatever they want to do with it. I think I'll try that. I think the TCL one will probably just best go to the transfer station rather than taking up space because I'm pretty sure I won't have a power pack for that one. Okay, what are we up to? I've got my notepad just about written out, so we'll look at that next. So adding the subwoofer in at 5, I reckon I can get myself about $70 from this stuff. Plus, of course, we have these two, which I'm going to put on eBay. Now, with my values, I'm going to be fairly tough on these prices. If they don't sell after 2 weeks, I'll be discounting them down to half. So the dialer will become $5, etc., etc. Half of $5. I'm not going to do $2.50. I don't like mucking around with coins. We'll probably just make those $2 each. So I'm going to be tough because I don't want the electrical stuff to take over the shop. I want it to sell quickly. I'm not doing this so much for making a huge profit. I really just want to keep this stuff in circulation. And we could do quite well out of these eBay items, and that'll more than make up for my time of testing and cleaning stuff. Let's have a look at last week's list. So this is part 2. I didn't do a list for part 1, or actually I did, but I think I've thrown it out, and I had sold just about everything, but we were much cheaper then. I was only going $5 per item. With this this stuff, this has been in the shop for 1 weekend. It wasn't an ideal weekend for selling this stuff because it was super hot. It was 38 degrees one day and 40 degrees the next, so that's Celsius. That's pretty warm. There was a lot of people around, but mostly tourists, and tourists don't usually buy this sort of stuff. I think all the locals that often come out were sitting beside their air conditioner at home. So consequently, I only sold one item. That was the Anko pie maker at $10, so we can tick that one off. And I'm going to keep track of these lists as we go. It'll make me accountable to make sure I reduce prices on old stock, and you guys will see that I do actually move the stuff eventually. So nothing else there sold. All that is still in stock. The shaver, though, I am going to put that on eBay. So I haven't done that yet. So we probably should have crossed that 50 out, because I think we'll possibly do better than that. I did have someone pick up the teapot I noticed in the shop, but they didn't bring it to the counter. They must have changed their mind. So anyway, so from part 2, we've only sold the one item for $10. I'm going to leave it a second weekend, and if whatever remains unsold, we'll be halving the price. So we'll check back in future episodes just to make sure that we clear it all out. And as for this episode, we'll check back in here next week to see what we've sold, and I will try and get these on eBay as soon as I can. So keep an eye on my how to eBay or how to sell online playlist, because I'll be featuring those. I'll try and get them on first. I do have a lot of stuff to get on, and I remember telling you just before Christmas that I would hold off eBaying until Christmas and New Year was over. So now I really have no excuse. So $70, hopefully, if all goes well, and we saved a lot of it from going to into the waste stream. Now, our bonus items this week. Have a look at this, a vintage cradle on wheels. Now, it's a kid's one. It's a toy one. It's made out of metal or wire. It has quite vintage wheels. I'm not sure what era it would be, maybe 60s. It looks like it's been painted with gold paint at some stage. And this was actually out near their scrap metal pile, so they had decided just to throw this into the scrap metal. I grabbed it straight away. I was more than happy to relieve this from going to the transfer station just as scrap metal. It's got a bit of a wobble to it. I think I can probably twist the frame, but it's a great little piece, and I reckon I'd probably get $20 for that. So even though it was out in their scrap pile, I gave them some money for it. The other thing I found was this cute little 1970s lamp. It's made in Hong Kong. It's nothing very good quality, but it's actually functional, and I think if we turn the base, the bottom lifts out and you can see the little burner. So it's just like a kero lamp. You'd put kerosene, or you put citronella oil or anything in that and wind the wick up and down, and it just burns a little flame. They do get a bit smoky, but they're fine if you can have them on your deck and want to keep mozzies away. The citronella oil works okay. So that's a nice little piece, and I'll get $10 for that. It hangs up. So that was, I think, $1. So I gave them $5, even though that was basically for nothing, the cradle, and this was $1. I gave them $5, and I will turn this into 10, and I think I'll turn the cradle into 20. So I'll add those to the list, and we'll check back in future weeks to see if I've sold them. I did say before we finish today we'd have a look in this electric blanket controller. So I've just taken the screws out. So let's see actually what's inside. Oh, there's a little circuit board, one chip on the back, and on the other side we have a little LCD display, some little tactile switches. Now, people will say, micro scrappers will tell you that there's silver in that. The contacts probably do have minute traces of silver on them, but in my mind it's not worth even trying to get out. A couple of resistors, that looks like a fuse in the middle, some capacitors and the switch, and again it's possibly got very small silver contacts. Oh, there's a little fuse in there actually, but it's not something we're going to chase. I don't need any parts out of here, and the board would only be a low-grade board. There's one chip there. If you save chips, you could probably just knock that off, and a little bit of extra wire. I didn't include this part in the wire because I don't want the scrapyards to pick on my samples. I want to give them as nice a sample of wire as possible, and if you have too much extra plastic in there, they have reason to pick at it. So there you go, not a great deal on there. Little circuit board, no transformers, no other precious metals that I would consider worth salvaging. Looks like a little bit of corrosion around there too actually. And just the one chip. So there you go, that's what's inside that. I'm just going to send that to Ewaste. I don't want any of it. So what's that leave us with after this episode? Well, we have a small pile here to go out to the transfer station as e-waste. We have a nice selection here of stuff that we can sell through the shop. I didn't write down anything for the spare cord or the little charger, so maybe another $5 there. And we also have our two best items to put on eBay. They do need a bit of a clean up. The clock radio has been thoroughly tested and that's good. I do need to test the set-top box. We have a little bit of scrap wire that came from the electric blankets. We have some cardboard and paper for the recycle bin. And we have a nice little pile of bubble wrap to be repurposed or reused at the shop. So there we go. I've added our extra things there. Of course, the other two things we're going to flip. $100 return plus the two best items. Bit of time, bit of cleaning, bit of testing, and I really enjoy processing this stuff. So that's the end of another Marathon Monday e-waste processing video that I didn't think would be a marathon, and it's probably turned out to be one. There's always a lot to go through, so this worked out pretty good. I said during the video that it's not really about the money. If I can test something and clean it and tag it and keep it in circulation, to me, as long as I cover a bit of my time, that's good. Fortunately, I do make a bit of money out of the videos, but then we've also had a couple of things that we'll put on eBay shortly, and I suspect that will build up our value for time substantially. So keep an eye out for that one. Thanks for watching this video. I'll be doing another Monday marathon next week. We'll catch you then. Bye for now.